She knelt beside his bed every morning with homemade soup and a smile, believing he was just another forgotten soul. But the tattoo-covered man who burst through the door wasn't there to thank her. He was there to make her disappear, until he saw his father's eyes light up for the first time in 3 years. Before we begin, if you're ready for a story about unexpected love, redemption, and a kindness that changed everything, hit that like button, drop a comment telling me what you think true compassion looks like, and subscribe because this journey is going to blow your mind. Now let's dive in. Tina Williams pushed through the heavy doors, her scrubs still smelling faintly of the cinnamon rolls she'd baked at 5 a.m. Not for the facility, for him. Room 217, the forgotten room at the end of the corridor where even veteran nurses avoided eye contact. The room where Mr. Choi sat by the window, silent and still as stone, watching the sunrise paint colors he never acknowledged. "Morning, Mr. Choi," Tina whispered, setting down the small container of soup, her grandmother's recipe, the one that had healed heartbreak and pneumonia in equal measure. "Made you something special today." The old man didn't turn. He never did. 73 years old, stroke survivor, no visitors in the 3 years since his admission. The file said he had a son. The reality said he had no one. Tina pulled up the one chair and began her routine, the one-sided conversation she'd perfected over 6 months. "You know what I realized this morning? The way you hold your left hand when the sun hits it a certain way. It's like you're trying to remember something." She spooned the soup carefully, bringing it to his lips. Something beautiful. A slight pressure. His mouth opened. He ate. It was the smallest victory, but for Tina it was everything. Meanwhile, across the city, Woo Jin Choi stood in his private office overlooking the Seoul Town district, the dragon tattoo coiling up his neck, catching the morning light. His phone buzzed. His second in command, Minho, stood at attention. "Boss, the monthly report from Mercy Grove." "My father's facility?" Woo Jin's voice was ice. "Yes, there's an irregularity. A nurse. She'd been bringing outside food, daily visits outside her shift, unusual attachments." Minho hesitated. Could be reconnaissance, could be worse. The glass in Woo Jin's hand cracked. In his world, unusual meant dangerous, attachment meant leverage. And his father, broken, silent, unreachable, was the only weakness he couldn't afford. "Get a car," he said, his voice deadly calm. "I'm going to meet this nurse." Tina was humming softly, wiping Mr. Choi's hands with a warm cloth, when the door exploded open. The man who entered wasn't a man. He was a storm wrapped in expensive black fabric and lethal intent. Tattoos crawled up his neck like dark poetry, his eyes sharp and merciless, locked onto her. "Step away from him." Tina's heart slammed against her ribs, but she didn't move. "Excuse me, this is a private," I said. "Step away." Woo Jin's voice could have shattered glass. 2 men flanked him, hands inside the jackets. Tina stood slowly, positioning herself between Woo Jin and the old man. "I don't know who you think you are, but you can't just—" "I'm his son." The words fell like a guillotine blade. "And you're done here." Tina's breath caught. "Son, 3 years, no visitors, no calls. And now this man, dangerous, cold, terrifying, claimed kinship." "If you're his son," Tina said, her voice trembling but steady, "then where the hell have you been?" Woo Jin moved forward, each step deliberate. "That's none of your concern." "It became my concern when I spent 6 months feeding him, bathing him, talking to him while he sat here alone." "Appa?" The word was barely a whisper, fragile as a spun glass. But it stopped Woo Jin mid-stride. Mr. Choi had turned from the window, His eyes, clouded, distant, were focused on Wu Jin, and they were wet. Appa, the old man whispered again, his paralyzed hand trembling as it reached forward. Wu Jin froze. In 3 years, his father hadn't spoken a word, not one syllable. The doctors said he never would, that the stroke had stolen language, memory, recognition. But he was speaking now, and he was reaching for Wu Jin with one hand, while his other hand gripped Tina's fingers with surprising strength. Wu Jin's world had rules, control, distance, power, emotion was weakness, and weakness got you killed. But standing in that sterile room, watching his father clutch this stranger's hand while whispering his name, every rule shattered. Everyone out, Wu Jin commanded. Minho and the guards vanished. Tina started to follow, but Mr. Choi's grip tightened. No, the old man rasped. Stay. Wu Jin's jaw clenched. You need to leave. He asked me to stay, Tina said quietly. I don't care what he... Wu Jin, Mr. Choi's voice cracked with effort. She, good girl. Good. To me. The words cost him. His breathing turned labored, sweat beading his forehead. Tina immediately checked his pulse, her nose training overriding fear. His heart rate's elevated, she said. You're stressing him out. I'm stressing him. Wu Jin's laugh was bitter. You've been coming here for months, bringing food, outside your shifts. What's your angle? Tina's eyes flashed. My angle. I was doing my job, being human, something you clearly know nothing about. You don't know what I know. I know you abandoned him. The slap of those words hung in the air. Wu Jin's expression went arctic. You know nothing about my family. I know he cries at night, Tina said, her voice breaking. I know he stares at that empty chair by his bed like he's waiting for someone who never comes. I know he clutches a photograph hidden in his drawer, a young man with a bright smile. I know he's been waiting for you. Wu Jin's mask cracked, just for a second. You went through his things? I was trying to understand him, to reach him, which is more than you've done. You have no idea what you're talking about. Then, enlighten me. Wu Jin stepped closer, his presence overwhelming. My father made choices, choices that cost lives, choices that made me what I am. When he had his stroke, I made sure he had the best care money could buy, but I couldn't. He stopped. I won't let someone use him to get to me. I'm not using anyone, Tina whispered. I saw a lonely man who needed kindness. Kindness, Wu Jin repeated, as if the word was foreign. In my world, kindness is a weapon. For 3 days, Wu Jin didn't leave. He stationed himself in his father's room, a silent sentinel who watched Tina's every movement with suspicion and something else she couldn't name. Tina adjusted. She continued her routine, morning soup, afternoon stories, evening music, but now under Wu Jin's hawk-like scrutiny. The other nurses whispered. Administrators wrung their hands. But Mr. Choi was speaking more each day, and that was all that mattered. Why soup? Wu Jin asked on the third morning. Tina looked up, surprised he had spoken. My grandmother's recipe. It helps with circulation, brain function, and it tastes like home. Home. Yeah, the thing people fight to return to. Wu Jin's fingers drummed his knee. My father hasn't had a home in 3 years. Maybe that's because you took it from him. His eyes flashed dangerously. Careful, nurse. My name is Tina. I know your name. I know everything about you. Tina Williams, 28, night shift nurse, graduated top of your class. No family except an aunt in Georgia. Drives a 2012 Honda. Volunteers at the homeless shelter on Sundays. He leaned forward. I know you better than you know yourself. Tina's blood ran cold. You investigated me. I investigate everyone who gets close to my father. That's sick. That's survival. Mr. Choi coughed, drawing their attention. Stop, he wheezed. Stop. Fighting. Tina immediately brought water. Woojin stood, helpless, watching her gentle efficiency. The way she tilted the cup just right, the way she murmured encouragement, the way his father's eyes softened. How long have you been doing this? Woojin asked quietly. 6 months. Every day. Every day I could. Why? Tina met his gaze. Because someone should. What would you do if you discovered the truth behind someone's pain? Drop your answer in the comments. That night, Woojin found Tina in the facility's chapel, a small room with stained glass that caught the moonlight. She was crying silently. Rough day? His voice was softer than before. Tina wiped her eyes quickly. Just tired. Ah, you're a terrible liar. He sat 2 chairs away. Why do you care so much about my father? The question hung heavy. Tina stared at the colored light dancing on the floor. My dad had a stroke when I was 16. We couldn't afford good care. I watched him slip away in a county hospital, where nurses had 40 patients each and no one knew his name. Her voice cracked. He died alone while I was at school. I didn't get to say goodbye. Woojin said nothing. When I started here and saw your father, forgotten, silent, waiting, I couldn't let him die like that. I couldn't let another person disappear without someone fighting for them. He's not your father. No, Tina whispered. But he could have been. And maybe if someone had cared about my dad the way I care about yours, he'd still be here. The silence stretched. Then Woojin spoke, his voice raw. I was 12 when I watched my mother die. Bullet meant for my father. She took it instead. His hands clenched. My father was deep in the life. The mafia, the violence, all of it. He couldn't get out, wouldn't get out. After mom died, he tried to change, got clean, left the organization, but the damage was done. What happened? I took over. At 18, I became what he'd been trying to escape. I built an empire on the blood he'd spilled, and I swore I'd never be weak like him, never let emotion compromise me. He looked at her. When he had his stroke, I saw it as karma for everything he'd done, everything he'd cost us. So you left him here. I kept him alive. That was more than he deserved. That's not mercy, Tina said. That's revenge. Woojin's jaw tightened. You don't understand my world. No, but I understand pain, and I understand that you're punishing him for something that also punished you. Something shifted after that night. Woojin still came daily, but the surveillance felt less like suspicion and more like presence. He began asking questions about his father's care, his routine, his responses. He watched Tina work with something that looked almost like admiration. One afternoon, while Tina was reading to Mr. Choi, Woojin interrupted. He likes music better. Jazz. Specifically, Miles Davis. Tina blinked. How did you? I remember. Before everything fell apart, he'd play it on Sunday mornings. Woojin pulled out his phone and suddenly, so what? Filled the room. Mr. Choi's eyes brightened. His good hand tapped weakly against his knee. And for the first time, Tina saw Woojin smile, small, broken, but real. Thank you, she said softly. For what? For remembering, for showing up, for trying. Woojin looked at her, really looked, and something passed between them. Recognition, understanding, the beginning of something neither had names for. Can I confess something? Tina asked. What? I was terrified of you that first day. Thought you might actually kill me. Woojin's lips twitched. I considered it. Comforting. But then I saw how he looked at you. Like you were sunlight. Its expression sobered. No one's looked at me like that in years. Maybe you haven't given them reason to. The challenge hung between them. Woo Jin stood, moving to the window. You know what's dangerous about you, Tina Williams. What? You make me want to be the man my father tried to become. Tina's breath caught. Woo Jin, boss! Minho burst in, his face ashen. We have a problem. The Yakamoto family knows about your father. They're coming. Tonight. Everything froze. Chaos erupted. Within an hour, Mercy Grove was on lockdown. Armed guards flooded the hallways. Administrators panicked. Patients were being relocated. And Woo Jin was a man transformed, cold, calculating, the crime lord returning in full force. You need to leave, he told Tina. Now. I'm not leaving your father. This isn't a request. And I'm not your employee. Tina stood firm. If he's in danger because of me, Woo Jin roared. Don't you get it? Everyone I care about dies. My mother, my partners, my friends. Everyone who gets close to me ends up dead or destroyed. That's why I stayed away. That's why I kept my distance. So you were protecting him? I was protecting him from me. The confession hung between them like shattered glass. Mr. Choi watched from his bed, tears streaming down his weathered face. Tina stepped forward, her voice shaking. Then what about me? Are you protecting me by pushing me away? Woo Jin's mask cracked completely. You think this is about you? I think you're scared. I think you found something real with your father again, something real with me, and it terrifies you because you don't know how to protect what you love without destroying it. Love? Woo Jin laughed bitterly. You don't love me. You don't even know me. I know you cry when you think no one's watching. I know you whisper apologies to your father when you think he's sleeping. I know you check the flower I put on the window 3 times a day to make sure it has enough water. I know. Stop. I know you're not the monster you pretend to be. You're wrong. Woo Jin's voice was arctic. I am exactly that monster. And the kindest thing I can do is make sure you never see me again. He turned to his men. Escort her out. Make sure she never comes back. Woo Jin, please. Goodbye, Tina. The guards moved forward. Tina looked at Mr. Choi, whose hand was outstretched, his mouth forming words that wouldn't come, and then she was being dragged away, her screams echoing down the sterile hallways. 3 days passed like 3 years. Tina's apartment felt like a tomb. She called the facility hourly. No information, no access. Woo Jin had erased her completely. She tried to move on, picked up extra shifts, volunteered more at the shelter, but every soup recipe smelled like Mr. Choi's room. Every sunrise reminded her of his window. Every silence echoed with Woo Jin's broken confession. On the 4th day, a letter arrived. No return address. Inside, a single photograph. Mr. Choi and Woo Jin, decades younger, laughing at a beach. On the back, in shaky handwriting, he asks for you every day. Please come back. Mr. Choi, through nurse. Tina's hands shook, but Woo Jin had made his choice. He'd pushed her out, protected her by removing her. She should respect that. Shouldn't she? That night, she stood outside Mercy Grove at 2 a.m., staring at room 217's window, the same window where she'd watched an old man wait for love that never came, the same window where she'd started to believe in second chances. Her phone rang, unknown number. Hello? Tina Williams, a woman's voice, professional, cold. Yes? This is Dr. Reeves from Mercy Grove. Mr. Choi suffered another stroke tonight. It's not good. He's been asking for you, screaming your name actually. Mr. Woo Jin Choi has authorized your entry. If you want to say goodbye, you should come now. The phone slipped from Tina's hand. Meanwhile, in room 217, Wu Jin sat beside his father's bed, holding the old man's hand for the first time in 3 years. The Yakamoto threat had been handled, the danger had passed, but his father was slipping away. "I'm sorry, Appa," Wu Jin whispered. "I'm so sorry for everything, for leaving you, for being too scared to love you, for pushing away the only person who saw you as human." Mr. Choi's eyes fluttered. His lips moved. "Tina. I know. I called her. She's coming. You love her." Wu Jin's breath caught. "Appa, don't make my mistakes." Each word was agony. "Don't let fear steal love. I'm trying to protect her. Protect her by loving her." Mr. Choi's grip tightened with surprising strength. "Be the man I should have been." Tina burst through the door at 2:47 a.m., breathless, terrified, her scrubs on backwards because she dressed in the car. Wu Jin stood immediately, his eyes red, his carefully constructed walls finally completely demolished. "Tina!" She ran past him, falling to her knees beside Mr. Choi's bed. I'm here, Mr. Choi. I'm so sorry I left. I'm so sorry." The old man's eyes opened. A smile, faint but real, touched his lips. "Good girl," he whispered. "My good girl." "Don't leave," Tina sobbed. "Please don't leave. Not yet. Not when we were just starting to make progress. Not when your son just started coming back to you." Mr. Choi's hand moved weakly, gesturing. Tina looked up. Wu Jin stood frozen, tears streaming down his face. "Come here," Mr. Choi commanded with surprising strength. Wu Jin knelt beside Tina. His father took both their hands, placing them together. "Love," Mr. Choi said simply. "At last. Love. At last." The machines beeped steadily. Dr. Reeves entered, checked the monitors, and gasped softly. "His vitals are stabilizing. This shouldn't be possible. He was coded blue 20 minutes ago." But Mr. Choi wasn't listening to doctors. He was looking at his son and the woman who'd saved them both. Their hands intertwined, and he was smiling. "Appa," Wu Jin whispered, his voice breaking completely. "I'm so sorry for everything, for leaving you, for being too proud to say I love you, for almost losing the best thing that ever happened to us. You found her. That's enough." Tina looked at Wu Jin through tears. "I don't understand what's happening." "He's giving us his blessing," Wu Jin said softly. "The stubborn old man is refusing to die until he knows I won't screw this up." "Will you?" Tina asked. "Screw this up?" Wu Jin turned to her fully, and in his eyes was everything he'd been too scared to say. "I am a dangerous man, Tina Williams. I've done terrible things. I'll probably do more. My world is violent and dark, and you deserve better than anything I can offer. But you walked into my father's room with soup and kindness, and you changed everything. You reminded me what it feels like to be human, to want to be better, to believe redemption is possible." He cupped her face with shaking hands. "I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to love without destroying, but if you let me, I want to try. I want to be the man my father sees when he looks at us. I want to be worthy of you. Wu Jin, I love you," he said simply. "I think I loved you from the moment you stood between me and my father and refused to move. You're the bravest person I've ever met, and if you'll have me, this broken, dangerous, terrified man, I swear I'll spend every day trying to be someone you can be proud of." Tina's tears fell freely now. "You really investigated me, down to your shoe size. That's creepy. I know. You pushed me away. I know. You broke my heart. I know. And I'll spend forever making it up to you if you let me." Tina looked at Mr. Choi, who nodded encouragingly, his smile growing. Then she looked back at Wu Jin, this man of violence and pain who'd learned to hope again. I have conditions, she said. Anything. You visit your father every week, no exceptions. Done. You let me bring him soup. Of course. And you take me on a real date, not some fancy restaurant where everyone's scared of you. A real date. Movies, popcorn, holding hands. Wu Jin laughed. A real laugh that transformed his face. I don't know how to do that. Then I'll teach you. Deal. He kissed her then, soft and careful, like she was something precious he had spent his whole life searching for. Mr. Choi clapped weakly from his bed, and even Dr. Reeves wiped her eyes. When they finally pulled apart, Tina whispered, "For the record, I love you too, even though you're dramatic and overprotective and kinda terrifying." Kind of? Very? But I see past that. I see the boy who lost his mother, the son who loved his father too much to watch him suffer, the man brave enough to change. 6 months later. Room 217 looked different now. Fresh flowers bloomed on the windowsill. Photographs covered the walls. Wu Jin and Tina at the beach, Mr. Choi's birthday party, family dinners at Tina's aunt's house. Jazz played softly. And by the window, Mr. Choi sat in his wheelchair, not alone, but surrounded. Wu Jin read the newspaper aloud. Tina was making soup in the small kitchenette they'd installed. Minho stood guard outside, but now he smiled. You know, Mr. Choi said, his speech almost normal after months of intensive therapy. I prayed for this, for you to find love, for our family to heal. Your prayers had good timing, Wu Jin said, taking Tina's hand as she brought the soup. Not prayers, Mr. Choi corrected, his eyes twinkling. Tina, she was the answer. She was the miracle. She was the love that saved us all. Tina knelt between them, taking both their hands. No, she said softly, we saved each other. That's what family does. Outside, the sun rose over Mercy Grove, painting the world in gold, and in room 217, a family that had been broken learned what it meant to be whole. Love at last. Unexpected love, the kind that changes everything. So what did you think of this journey? Have you ever shown kindness to someone without knowing their story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this story touched your heart, smash that subscribe button because we're just getting started with these emotional tales.